Hello and welcome to another episode of The Aftermath. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm joined by Dylan.
This podcast is brought to you by the dual entry system. We have entered this recording session by way of two entry plugs.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Are totally in sync.
Yep.
100%.
Love it. Take it away, Dylan. Just, man.
We watched the third rebuild of Ava movie. And bro,
this one feels a little quicker than the other ones did.
yeah,
Yeah. Like it feels like it, let me just...
it's got a decent pace to it.
Let me check. Yeah, I'm not saying it was like it was like rushed or
Oh yeah,
anything.
no, I mean, I get what you mean.
Felt a little bit shorter.
Mm-hmm.
And well, actually, technically, it was by about 10 minutes.
How about that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, anyways. I don't know if I can tell.
What a concept.
Time. So, as I've said numerous times on this show, I like the second one a lot. And watching this one again, having like read up on some stuff,
Yeah.
and having just previously watched the other two,
Mm-hmm.
I think I understand a few more of the things that were going on in the film
Yeah.
that I thought were a little more disconnected that I don't think that I fully had a good grasp on.
Mm-hmm.
It was partially because I don't think I understood the full story.
Right.
This is an anime
Mm-hmm.
through and through. And I'm not going to lie. You said something whenever I asked you a question
Mm-hmm.
that if this was talked about outside the context of an anime, I'd be like, what were the words that you just said?
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, right.
Dude.
It was whenever you were
I'm
saying
throwing
that.
out shit. I partway through my answer, I was like, "What the fuck am I talking about?"
You said something about Gendo was requiring some sort of requiring rights for something or whatever to
the key of Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah, to
in
use
order
the
to sacrifice his soul,
Right.
and his humanity.
And I think the thing that got me was I think you had said that he had
I think it was whenever you asked me what like his motive was,
right.
or
You
at
were
least
saying
like a clarified version of it.
right. It's like, why was he wanting to do the Human Instrumentality Project?
And I was like, oh yeah, of course he wanted to get to the Golgotha object in the anti-universe.
yeah, right, yeah, precisely
That right there,
And I was
because
like,
that's real. That's actually in the
right.
movies.
And I believe you. And I'm like,
But it sounds like the most gobbledygook garbage.
It sounds like the most high fantasy sci-fi stuff you can come up with. And I was
something
like,
a crackhead
yep,
might just say
yep.
out on the sidewalk.
There's a lot of stuff going on towards like the apex of this film that like it looks pretty, but then like but this viewing specifically, I looked at it and was like, but why? And then the more you were kind of describing, I was like, oh shit, that's why. That's why I see now. So anyways, before we get to that point, what were your feelings about this movie? How did you feel about
Bro,
this
it's
one?
a fucking doozy.
It's a beautiful
It's a complete like heel turn.
Yeah.
It is the offshoot.
Yeah.
I should say rather the the many like slight differences in the first two films are the beginnings of the offshoot.
Right.
And
This
then-
really continues off the rails.
Yeah, it doesn't peak until the end of the second film where shit happens way ahead of schedule. And you're like, well, what the fuck happens now? And then in the third film, they're like, oh, this. And you're like,
that was
okay.
the I love how you came here thinking that what you just saw was the end. That was just the first ending.
right. You
We
thought
still
we were going
got-
to be rehashing this shit? Nah,
We still got
son.
2 more endings to tackle.
Hell yeah.
To continue with the vibe
Mhm.
that these films have had so far, for me, they're just really pretty.
Yeah.
The music continues to be
Gorgeous.
amazing. It's just really good.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Standard fare.
as you watch this film in its entirety, it all makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just take the beginning and you and you just watch it for what it is, at least for me,
Yeah.
I look at Shinji as a character, and I'm like, well, no, duh, he's making those decisions like that.
Yeah.
Of course, he
doesn't have the full picture
because he doesn't have the full picture, and he doesn't care. And literally,
if they had explained every little thing to him,
just even a little bit, that
motherfucker would have gone catatonic.
I'm not even talking about everything.
Yeah.
Let me paint a picture for everyone. So at the ending of the second film, like we talked about, there was a near third impact.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are just tuning in, why are you tuning in on this one?
Yeah, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Basically, the impact is like a pseudo into the world kind of thing. So
a hard reset.
Yeah. And Shinji at the end of the second film, in the heat of passion and just trying his best to save his friend's life,
causes one of these
things to happen.
The motherfucker even says while he's in the cockpit, he's like, I don't care what happens to the world or anybody else.
Right. Because again, in his defense.
But I live there.
Oh, well, you're right. In his defense, everyone has treated him pretty poorly, and the only person that's ever treated him really nicely, I shouldn't say that. The only person that has really
plenty of folks
there's been
at that
point in time in the first and second film, there were some people. I shouldn't say none at all, because this third film really goes to show there's nobody that cares.
Dad.
Right.
That pushed him over the edge.
You're right. So anyways, there's a whole lot of stuff that goes on that again, it's hard to justify the decision. But again, as a young teen boy trying to save the girl that you probably have feelings for, I feel like, hey, dumb decisions were made, and that's just...
Shit happens.
Shit happens sometimes. But shit happens for you
Not
inside
quite to this extent, but it does happen.
Inside of a heavenly robot monster that can also summon the end of the world. So, just... Imagine that
disaster.
Imagine that for a moment, if you will. Going through puberty, trying to not end the world all in the same time.
Impossible for this young man.
So, with that being said, the movie ends, and there's like a little post-credit scene that goes to show that like the end of the world has been ceased.
Yeah, all is not lost.
Right. And
thanks to the Moon Boy.
Right, Moon Boy himself. He'll be important later. Don't worry. He gets put into a coma, basically. And he gets
stuck inside Unit 1's plug.
Right, gets locked away for, I won't disclose right now the amount of time that he was in there for. But just know that imagine yourself in that moment, trying your best to save your friend, and of course, not understanding you're unlocking the full potential of this monster beast that no one else knew either. Yeah. Only the big bad guy knew about, and of course that was
few.
That was his plan the whole time, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. So it's also not totally his fault, but it still is. But at the same time, it's like there's a lot more at play here.
There are risks involved.
Right. Just imagine you waking up and you are strapped to a hospital table and you are like being poked and prodded at, and like, people are talking at you.
Where were you on the date of this?
Right. They're talking at you, and they're asking questions, and again, in your best voice, you're like, I'm me. I feel all right. And of course, they ignore you and go, yeah, he's showing signs of, cognitive ability. Human. He seems like he's okay.
Because they didn't fucking know what he was
going
to come out as.
And I understand that, and I don't blame them. But at a certain point, yes, all the bad things that happened. But at this point, he is showing all signs of like being his normal boyish self with a little bit of, where the hell am I? Because again, for him, only a day has passed. But guess what? Go ahead and tell him how long he's been out for.
He has been locked in geosynchronous orbit in this
in his personal hell, basically.
For a whopping 14 years.
14 years.
Yep.
And so, obviously, he's got a couple of questions. And he's confused. And without being aggressive or mean and being still his kind of timid self,
right,
asks a few questions and like asks how he can help and what he can do. And everyone keeps giving him the cold shoulder and keeps looking at him like he's a monster. And believe me when I say, I don't blame you.
right.
But at a certain point, I felt like somebody on this ship should have had at least level 1 communication skills to go, hey, buddy, you've been out for about 14 years because you almost ended the world. I'm just going to end it there for a second, and you can let that simmer for a second. We got stuff to handle because we're about to get attacked by this ship thing. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm saying. There's a few times in this moment where, like, there are...
They probably didn't tell him that.
Right.
Because they were worried he might just fly off the handle.
You're right.
Again.
And I don't blame... That's what I'm saying. I don't blame them for their decision. Mm-hmm. There was a couple of moments where I felt like he asked some questions, and he even asked, like, let me pilot Unit 1 again. Let me help out because they're under attack. Yeah. And again, I don't think he comprehends what he did. Yeah. So at that point, I would have been like, in the most respectful way possible, we do not want you in a unit again. Mm-hmm. For the safety of us all, and we will talk about this later. Really? Even just something as simple as that would have been nice, and I felt like it would have at least calmed him down to go, okay, something's happened, and I can't pilot anymore. Yeah. But they didn't tell him that. They just looked at him like, sternly.
Sit there, shut up, and don't do anything.
And not only that, again, this is what I'm talking about, is that they treat him so shitty. Yeah. The person that like used to kind of take care of him, Misato, just like looks at him and is like, we don't need you anymore. Yeah. And it's like, okay, you don't got to be such a bitch about it. Right. You could have just said...
She's acting all tough and cruel on the outside.
You're right.
You're right. Behind the facade, she's super happy.
Right. You're right. And so it's that there's but again, it doesn't, the happiness doesn't come across.
Oh, no, of course not.
And again...
She can't.
And I don't, again, I understand. Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is that all this is culminating to eventually what's going to happen. And at that point, I'm like, that's on y'all. And there's also a point in time where, again, where they put him in like this like two-way or like one-way mirror kind of situation, like this like in an interrogation room. Mm. And he's asking some like very valid questions about like, where am I? What's going on? And no one is answering anything. And he is not asking like questions that are like super pressing. And he's like kind of getting emotionally raised because they're like getting frustrated with him and like saying some shit to him. And they're kind of just like discrediting him. And I'm like, bruh, like you're not.
He asks them where Ray is and was like, she's gone, bro.
Right.
She doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly. And of course he thinks that she's around. And again, that's on him. But there's a certain point.
It's a whole nother can of worms.
You're right. There's a point when Asuka comes in and he is happy that she is okay. Mm-hmm. And again, I'm not surprised her character does this, but like she punches the window.
That's just how she is.
You're right. And I'm like, I'm not surprised by that.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that at no point in time is anybody saying anything to try and bridge the gap between, hey, things happened. Mm-hmm. We are doing all right now, but like you caused a lot of hurt in the world.
You fucked some shit up, bro.
And we just want to make sure for your safety and for ours that we got you on lockdown. Is like just meeting him with that, I think would have helped out so much. You know what I'm saying? But nobody did that.
Everyone they start with the choker. It's like start just in case this shit happens again. We put this shit around your neck that'll fucking explode. If you ever fly off the handle again.
And in the nicest way possible, he's like,
you're gonna kill me?
Like, you wouldn't kill me, would you?
It's like,
and then he's met with silence again. And I'm like, and at that point, I'm like, okay, you are really not in his camp.
Right.
If anything, if I was in his position, I would feel like a prisoner. Yeah. I would feel like a prisoner. And you're right. Yeah. And again, that's okay if something was told to me. If some sort of like ground was met where I'm like come and talk to me like a human being. I know that you may think I'm some sort of like demigod now, but right. like at least we
don't know what you are, bro.
Right. But the thing is, like, I'm sitting here having a conversation with you, a rather one-sided one, but I'm sitting here trying to like vent out my feelings a little bit.
Yeah.
And like you're able to hold a conversation enough, like you're able to like jokingly ask my medical director who's going to be taking over me, who's one of my friend's younger sisters that is now 14 years older. So anyways, there's like a whole lot of stuff going on.
Right.
Needless to say, there's a whole like there's another a warning and they're under attack or whatever.
Ray shows up.
Ray, of course, is like talking to him telepathically or whatever.
Right. She can just do that.
Apparently. And of course, he like calls out to her.
Mm-hmm.
She blasts out the cell that he's in, like out of the hull.
Yeah. And
like just holds out her hand.
You look okay, get it.
Right. And so and he obviously is like,
okay.
Oh, okay. I am a prisoner, and Ray, the only person that I have ever like had a really good connection with at all, is like willing to save me. And so and then and this is where I have no respect for Misato. She's like standing there with the self-destruct gun, and it's like, stay in your cell. Like, we have to keep you under containment or whatever.
They can't risk it.
And I get where she's coming from, but at that point, it's like he has the freedom to leave, and at that point, you just shouting at him is not gonna make him stay. You pointing the thing that's gonna try and kill him to like that. I mean, what else do I gotta lose? You're not telling me anything. Yeah. I'm not gonna just like go, you guys have been so mean to me. I guess I should just like put myself back in my cage. Right. No, I in his situation, the only person that I felt like understood me is like reaching out a hand to save me. And at this point, all the people that I thought that I knew are like keeping a lot of stuff under wraps and keeping a lot of stuff secret. Which again, that's what happens. Yeah. But like I'm also like, they're being really mean to me. Yeah. And I'm like,
Toji's sister was okay.
I mean, yeah.
She was nice.
But he would never really had a relationship with her.
Nah.
The person he lived with, Misato, and Asuka.
She almost killed him.
Right. Hey. Anyway, so I'm just saying, I get, I think narratively why they did that. I'm kind of playing this up because the first like maybe 15 minutes of this, I'm like, bruh. You can't get mad for Shinji leaving when you're like, you have treated him like a slave. Like you treated him like some sort of like prisoner. Yeah. And again, I don't blame you, but like again, if you're trying to meet with him and like, keep him safe and like staying in one position, right, treating him like shit is not going to do it. Yeah. So anyways, again, narratively, it makes sense later because again, he gets to meet Kaoru, and of course they get to like see the world for what happened, and it's a little more emotional. I think
he lays
in that
it down
way.
on the ground,
right?
Gives
and
him
so,
the truth.
So I get it, and I think that there's an understanding, but I think it feels a little disconnected at the end of the film, like why Asuka was like kind of buddy with him all of a sudden, still kind of shitty to him, but like just kind of like grabbing his hand and like walking off into the distance. I'm like. Yeah.
I mean, she's not gonna fucking kick his shit in.
I mean, but she did though, and then of course it's like we're gonna be friends now, I guess. And it's like I don't understand. Who are you? But again, that's Asuka though. Asuka's that through and through. Mm-hmm. But anyways, so after this whole section in the beginning that I'm talking about, man, the whole sequence.
Yeah.
Go ahead, just go ahead and tell me the whole. Tell the great people about the sequence of what you thought was a naval fleet turn into an airship battle.
Yes. So, while and even before the events of this third film, Kaji was part of this little Vile movement.
Yeah.
Who knew what Nerve was trying to do.
Right.
And have been fighting them from the inside and outside a bit. After the near third impact happens at the end of the second film, Kaji is able to hijack one of these 4 ships that are to be used for the final rites of the Human Instrumentality Project.
Interesting.
And he gives this ship to Misato after he does the deed that will elaborate on for the fourth film. And for the past, I don't know how many years it's taken to get this thing up and running, they've been loading it up with supplies, just constructing it.
Well, because it's, by the way, it's massive.
Oh, yeah. Gigantic.
It's huge.
Mm-hmm. And we step in, during what is to be their first test flight.
Right.
Yeah. They are just trying to get it up and running so that they know it works. But after during this, after Shinji is awakened, they receive warnings.
Awakened in like the physical form, not like the godhood form.
Not the bad one. the normal one.
Right.
After that happens, they are surrounded by these angels that have been sent by Nerve to to destroy them.
Wait, those were sent by Nerve?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Everything they're fighting is still part of Nerve or Sele.
So wait, were the angels part of Sele before?
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Bro, wait a minute. I thought they were just like, it was a natural instinct. Like they were just
it is. They still like naturally exist and they'll still go to Central Dogma, but Sele was using them as part of their plan. Like they had this shit laid out.
I didn't. Wow. Yeah. I think I may have known. I don't think I knew that though.
Yeah, dude.
So for like the entire, like all the ones that we were seeing before, Sele was like sending them specifically to try and get Lilith.
No, they were sending them and they were figuring that they would succeed and like destroy them, which they do.
Yeah.
But up to a certain point, they decided to expedite the process a bit by Shinji starting that near third impact. If you remember how it went down in the show, it's been a long time.
It has been a long time.
But that was all part of their plan.
Really?
Most every event in the series is lined out in their whole scheme they got going.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean that like I know that like Sele and Nerve are working together, but like does that mean that they were always like is that kind of how that
at the top? Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody working at Nerve thought they were saving humanity, like helping to protect themselves against these angels, but
behind closed doors, Gendo was talking to Sele about.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Everybody.
Gendo's a real piece of shit.
He's a fucking asshole.
Damn.
Like, holy shit.
And it's also like, I don't really understand his motive.
He just wants to see his wife again.
But I don't believe that.
Just wants, that's all.
Oh, I don't believe that.
No, that's literally it.
I know, but like at a certain point, it's like, man, you're really doing a whole lot.
Right. Was she really worth all
not
this?
Even that. It's like you're really doing a whole lot for like maybe the conceptualized idea of seeing your wife.
Right.
You can't even like bring her back in the physical form. You have like sacrificed your soul.
Yeah.
You're now like Cyclops Vision Man now.
Yeah.
Like you ain't like you're not even yourself anymore.
Yeah, there's no going back from that.
At that point, it's like, are you like the facade was to go see your wife again, was to be able to see your wife, but now it feels more like are you just trying to like cheese the system a little bit, trying to get immortality or something, or trying to have everlasting life.
No, he's already got that by this point.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Because of the like sacrificing the soul thing, or
yep.
Damn. That's messed up.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Uh-huh.
I'm actually really excited to watch the fourth one again.
Yeah.
Because I've only ever watched it once or twice.
Yeah.
I think.
Twice, I believe. Although, I'm going to say this now, we ain't touching that dub, bro.
Why?
Because it was bad.
Really?
Compared to these like Funimation dubs, for all three of these films, they're fucking stellar.
Yeah.
But the fourth one, man, they just did not hack it.
Interesting. I don't think I watched the dub.
No, we did.
Oh, we did? Okay.
Yeah, we watched the dub the first go around, and then I watched it in subs with like Chase.
Interesting. Okay.
But that aside, this launch sequence.
Oh, yeah, super cool.
The Wunder, dude.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Super cool.
They like
it's the most like Final Fantasy looking like airship I've ever seen.
You'd see this thing like as part of the logo art for one of the games that looks like.
Oh yeah, hands down.
But
there's a lot of it's really busy, like the design of it. There's wings on it for some reason. Yes,
it's got a tail.
Cool. Yeah. It uses the that as we've talked about in the previous episodes, they have like the like their force field called AT fields. It uses that to propel itself. It's like we're talking like some real magic energy.
Flight, bro.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Some real angel magic to power this this flying beast.
Mm-hmm. So they begin the startup sequence and they're putting like all the effort into like getting this thing out of the water.
Oh yeah.
Because this wall of death is rapidly encroaching.
Yeah.
And it's down to the wire, man. Like, they don't get up until they see the whites of this thing's eyes.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as it's up in the air, you hear the theme.
Oh,
the anthem.
The
bro.
anthem.
Shit is beautiful.
It feels so iconic.
I love the way it sounds, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a whale.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool.
Real beefy.
But it comes out of the water, and somehow, I guess by like its magical proxy or whatever,
space-time control.
Right. It's able to also make all the other like regular battleships fly.
Yeah.
So not only is this just
most gravity controlled.
I mean, like I said, this most Final Fantasy looking, like ship come out of the water and sprout wings, and it's just like, oh my god, what are we looking at? But like all the other like battleships like floating out of the water, like just kind of hovering there like Christmas ornaments.
Right.
And it's like, cool, I guess we're
awesome.
Yeah, we're here now.
Yeah. Something Misato says right before takeoff is, it's time to see if the ship is capable of deicide.
Yeah.
They've got this idea in their heads that this thing, once complete, and not even complete, what we're seeing is not the final product, by the way.
Right.
It's supposed to be capable of killing a god.
I mean, with how impressive it looks, I wouldn't be
totally can.
Yeah, it looks like it.
It's so cool.
There is a moment that there's so many great like dialogue moments in that sequence where the team is a bit ramshackle. Yeah, like they're kind of good at their areas, but they're not like...
We're talking like white base crew.
Yeah, OG white base crew.
From the first Gundam series.
But more adults, not children.
Not a bunch of kids.
Exactly. But it's a very similar vibe of like, I don't think I fully understand what my job is, but like, I got to get it done, I guess.
It's all or nothing.
And again, they haven't done a test run of like actually making this ship airworthy. And they're just like full sending it. Yeah. And everyone there is like, bruh, I don't know if I feel comfortable in this. And
Misato's like, too bad.
We don't have any other option.
Yeah.
And to kind of really hammer that home, I love the phrase because it feels so this whole montage, they're all like they're saying a bunch of jargon, but it's all understandable, right? And it's all in universe, and so it feels very much like they're like there's a whole checklist of things they're doing. They got to get this ignition thing in. They're like spooling up this engine thing to like get it to, and like it has to ignite. So you're like, it's all these like terminology that you're like, I can get behind it. You got to get the engine cranked up. You got to get the ignition in there, and then we got to like lift off. You're like.
There's no hesitation as if nobody knows what that means.
Right.
Like we would be.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like, do the what now?
Yeah, I'm sorry, what?
Triaxial control. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. I understand that we hit it's done spooling up, but now what do I do?
Right.
So anyways, there's a moment whenever this anthem dun, 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 is like also in the background and it's building, and of course they're like all these like different things or like all these check marks are like are hitting where they're like this is finished, we're all ready to go, like and like the ignition is ready, it's like we're primed, everything's in the green, and then the phrase that I love the most is Misato says skip the countdown. Just full launch.
Fuck that shit.
And it's like I love
we in this bitch.
I love that mentality of just like skip the countdown, we're gonna full send it, and it's like okay, and it's like poof, and of course they hit stuff and it explodes and just this thing flies out
full.
Yeah, and I like love it, super cool, and it's just a great way to start the film of like hell yeah, we're getting right into this. Yeah.
Get hyped. This is the new shit.
Yeah.
You ain't never seen this shit before.
We're getting hyped, and at the same time, we're just shitting on Shinji every chance we can get. I'm like, damn.
As usual.
Yeah. I'm happy, and I'm also sad.
Fair. It's like you just hate the little bastard, but I mean, you want him to be happy.
I do. I'm sitting here looking at Shinji, and he's like, bro, where am I?
Pitiful.
And everyone's like, ugh. Shinji. I'm like, dude, he just got here.
It's like, I mean, yeah, but damn. Like, oh, jeez.
He just woke up from a 14-year nap.
I only got so many Shinjis in me.
Yeah, I know. There are moments where I feel like that's deserved, and that was that moment where I'm like, he didn't deserve that.
Right.
He's done some pretty stupid stuff where it's like, okay, we can all collectively go, ugh, Shinji.
Yeah.
But that one, I'm like, he's just sitting here like in a hospital gown on the bridge of a ship, and he's like,
where am I? Shut up.
Let me help, guys.
No.
No, you're stupid.
You're stupid and I hate you.
I just got here.
I don't care.
I'm scared.
Good.
It's like, okay, fine.
You should be.
Right. I'm like, man, I don't know. Anyways.
Poor little bastard. He's done very little right. And
but he also, I mean.
Many of his shenanigans just don't pan out.
I don't know. I feel like he was an instrument.
Yeah.
I don't think he was originally.
Of the human variety.
I think that at times he may have had some strong emotions, but I don't think he was intending to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
But I felt like he was an instrument used for the highest of evil.
Right. Whenever I said he's done very little right, I mean that in the sense that he has done some things and they have gone well.
Yeah.
But more often than not,
he has done things.
Don't do.
Yeah. He has done some things and they turned out bad.
Yes.
Yep. But anyways.
Yeah.
So
he gets captured.
Oh yeah. Gets taken away. But yeah, right. It's all good.
Yeah. And I don't know what he was expecting other than like, oh, I'm going to be with Ray and everything will be fine now. But
again, in his defense.
No, I get it.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He gets taken back to Nerve HQ.
Bruh.
To ground zero.
Yeah, literally.
And he sees his dad.
Gosh.
His dad.
And before we get into like the crazy stuff with all that, he goes back to at this point, they start telling
the
him
Geo front is now the normal front.
Right. It's just the crater.
Yeah.
The shit stain that is the dogma.
The sign of your oopsie poopsie.
Yeah. He goes there, and I love these shots, dude. Mm-hmm. They're so beautiful. Like, and it's so, because I've seen all these locations and like what they look like in their prime, and then I've seen what they look like with people around, and I see what they look like all these other moments or whatever. And it's so interesting to see them in this moment where it's all covered in this like haze of red.
Yeah.
And like he's standing there and he's like, maybe Misato was right in that like time has passed, like 14 years maybe has passed. Whenever like he looks around and it like
the red hellscape.
Oh, yeah, like the definition of like post-apocalyptic like look, like it's just across this land that like we've all seen numerous times, and it'd be like pretty and fancy and
right,
super high tech, and like this the geofront. It's just this pinnacle of like, oh, it's the safe haven underneath the ground. Right. Now it's just this hole, and everything's red and dingy and broken. And there's always like these cool shots of it all, and it's like, and he's walking around like with just Ray or like by himself looking around, and it's like it gives me that same sort of feeling that like I don't know if you've ever seen it before, like the liminal space art.
Oh yeah,
where it's like that kind of like
an empty mall.
Yeah, like you see like what normally would be populated areas that are like empty, and just it gives you that eerie kind of feeling. like looking at looking at shots like that where it's like, I know what this should look like, and it's just so empty, and like like there's probably no living beings around besides them, and it's like oh shit, that's just kind of creepy. And
it's the same vibe an empty like Metropolis would give.
The
idea of that is
of course
terrifying.
And that's what I mean. It's like I know from like just,
even if it isn't fucked up, like just a normal city, just empty.
Yeah, it's like it's weird,
freaky.
Yeah. Well, and that's I guess what I'm saying with this is like, I know from these previous two movies how big Nerve HQ is.
Oh yeah,
or was at this point in time. But they're like walking around these like key landmarks. And it's like, bro, ain't nobody there, and and everything's either turned off or like broken,
dilapidated.
damn, it just gives me that like, ooh.
Yeah. Heebie-jeebies.
Yeah. But with that and I think this is what I love about this movie too, at least this moment of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
In the hangar where like the Unit 1 would like reside that we've seen numerous times.
Mm-hmm.
He looks down at the ground and there's like this mostly cleaned off floor.
This one little spot.
One little square of grass.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a tree in it. And the tree is blooming and looks really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since you see that moment, there are some touches of like other grass and like life that are sprouting up through this.
Yeah.
But like before that, you don't really see any of that at all.
Nope.
But this moment right here, there's like this beautiful, and I already love grand pianos. I think they're like really beautiful instruments. And like if you've ever been in like a really big room with one, they're amazing. Mm-hmm. And so you see the camera look down, and it's just like this, the blending of the two things, like this broken, dilapidated, mostly red, dingy like area around.
Yeah.
And there's like this like mostly cleaned off floor.
Little square of
Right. But it's like this like pristine, and I mean like beautiful, like brand new looking grand piano with this little square of grass and this like the contrast of green and red. Right. It just looks so cool. And there's so many scenes where like they just kind of keep like panning around and like getting these like quote unquote camera shots of like looking up at the tree and looking at the sky, so you don't see any of the muck around you, or if you do, it's in the peripheries or whatever. Yeah. So it's like you get to just see this like life finding a way kind of thing. It's super cool, and I love that during this point. Yeah. And this is where we meet Moon Boy.
Yes. Kaoru Nagisa.
We saw him in the previous film for a hot minute.
Yep.
Him being birthed out of a cocoon or whatever, and he's just like
stepping out of a coffin on the moon.
I'm coming for you, Shinji. It's like whoa, all right. You just woke up and you're just like name dropping that guy.
Damn, bro, you gonna head to Earth too?
Yeah.
No.
I'm
coming for you, Shinji.
Like he's coming to get you?
No. The other way.
Oh God, no. No. So basically like this character, from what you have told me, he is, how do you put this in the most digestible way? So once upon a time.
No.
Yeah.
He is, for all intents and purposes, the physical human form, if you can call it that, of Adam.
Okay.
The first angel.
Right.
Who is like the big bad.
Oh, so Adam's the big bad?
Yeah, I mean he's the progenitor of, like, he's the cause of the second impact.
Oh, I see.
Whenever he comes to. And then
that was on purpose?
Yeah. Either on purpose or a side effect after we dug him up.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, once he came to, all of his little children's started
I see.
popping out.
Interesting.
Trying to reclaim the earth.
But for this moment, for his physical personification,
he's just a super chill, nice dude.
Super nice dude.
Yeah.
And it better plays into what I'm talking about with Shinji and just needing someone to be there and care for him.
Yeah.
Which is why I feel like I'm so hard at the beginning of this film.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we have watched two films with Shinji in it.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's one thing we realize is, you know what? I just think Shinji needs someone to look at him and go, I care about you, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Give him a hug and say,
he just needs some parents.
You know what? You're right.
Yep.
He needs a good set of parents to be like, I love you and I care for you.
Yep.
But he never got that at all.
Nah.
And so he's sitting here and there's this guy named Kaoru.
Like a ray of Kaoru.
A
ray of fucking sunshine.
I mean, he's already like a kind of chill and fun character anyways.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say he's being like overtly flirty.
No.
But I think he's being like friendly and like a little lovey, whatever, like kind of like a brotherly figure. At least that's what it comes across for me. Is like he may kind of like a little wink, little subtle jab or whatever.
Because all I do is think about you.
Right. And it's like, well, right. But what I'm saying is like I don't. It doesn't, and when it comes like that, just feels like his character. It doesn't come across as like weird or like conniving or like he wants anything out of it.
Genuinely cares.
He just genuinely cares about it and genuinely thinks about him. And he's like, I have been thinking about you for a while. I'm just interested in you.
Yeah.
And I think that's also, it plays kind of into like who the characters are, like who Shinji is, like being the instrument of all that destruction.
Yeah.
And who Adam is. So like I think like narratively it makes sense as to why he would be like kind of fascinated with him. But I made a joke at the end of the film that I was like, I feel like Shinji is so deprived of anybody even caring for him or showing him love that the second like a genuine person comes up and is like,
walks up like, hey bro, you want to play piano? Shinji's just like,
I think I love you. I think I love you. And there's and that's what it feels like. Is it all those like kind of weird, awkward moments? I'm like, I'm never awkward. I never feel like a little kind of sussed out.
It doesn't make you uncomfortable. It doesn't because it makes sense.
Well, no, it doesn't make me uncomfortable when I route it into looking at Kaoru.
Yeah.
So, but though I think whenever I really put it all together, it's because like the way Shinji's acting, he is acting like I feel like I should fall in love with you right now.
Right,
and it's like no, he's being a genuine friend. Just let him do it. And of course he's sitting there with like rosy cheeks, like I think okay. It's like, bruh, just it's like but you're like, you know what? I can't blame you. You know,
it's fine.
You have compassion from somebody, and you're confusing that just like any young teenage boy. You're confusing niceness with flirting, and there's a big difference. So anyways, I had a lot of fun with that, where I'm like, there's a few times where like Shinji is just like, I don't think he understands what's going on. And I'm like,
that's hilarious.
Shinji, I care for you. I think I love you.
Will you marry me?
Bro, what? I just got here.
Oh, man.
So anyways, like we said before, there's these wonderful moments where they're just like bonding as friends, and like they're looking up at the stars together and kind of talking about dreams and or like what their dream is for their life or whatever, and how to achieve that and how to get just like express your feelings. And it's like, man, like this is, where were you 2 movies ago? Like whenever I think Shinji really needed a friend like that to be like, hey, it's okay to feel feelings and like be yourself. Instead of like, you suck and I hate you. So yeah, anyways, but he takes him and then may I say the montage of, like I was saying before, with the tree and the piano, they're playing like this beautiful piano piece together, and it just goes so well too, because it's just this like beautiful like piece played on a grand piano at the same time, like all these like pretty shots happening, and it's like, oh, this is so cool looking.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
It's nice.
So after they go out on I guess it's like the decking or the stairs on the side of this cliff face. I don't know where it is.
Yeah, after Shinji gets a new shirt, that, it's a little big on him.
Oh, this is so messed up.
Yeah, it belonged to Toji, his friend, who he has not seen at all and is probably assuming to be dead.
And
and that's like the final straw. He like starts flipping out and goes to Kaoru immediately. It's like, bro, I gotta know what happened, man. Can you just like show me?
Right.
And he's like,
you want to see it?
Follow me.
The hard part is too, like this show conveys like that dread emotion with facial expressions very well.
Yeah.
And there's a moment whenever like he's like, oh man, this is weird. This new shirt is like fits a little big on me, and then like opens up the side like the left hand side of his shirt, like, and it opens up to look inside of it, I guess, to like check a size or whatever.
Yeah.
And when it says the name on it, like the camera just like smash cuts to his face, and he has that like
his eyes are just fucking wide,
and dude, and it's like
with terror,
and it has like the art style has like he just has like the small mouth, the like big eyes with like you can see a lot of the whites in it, and like these just like these like black like circles around it, like not like harsh, but like just these like shadow lines around it. But it just like it has so much weight that like he didn't have to say anything. He didn't have to go like it's like he didn't have to do anything. No. It just like hard cuts to like his face, and he's like. He didn't say anything. Nothing. There was no sound. But like just seeing his face, like that was it. Just evoked that emotion of, oh God. And it's like wow. It was so. And they do that numerous times where like someone will like look at something and you're like, bro, it's
the equivalent of a mental jump scare.
Yeah, you're right. Anyways, take a little field trip. Down the side of a cliff face, or whatever, and he gets to see the
destruction left in his wake
is bad.
Yeah,
is real bad.
There are rows of teeth forming a fissure in the earth.
Yeah,
the moon appears to be caged.
So how is it because of his excuse me, because of his near impact? Is that what caused some things at the moon?
Yeah, all that shit started going down.
Well,
how much do you remember of the end of Evangelion?
I've only watched it once, and that was a long time ago. Okay. I remember Misato dying and a whole bunch of other stuff happening. I mean, I remember like we were getting down to the end, and like everyone was dying.
Yeah,
and then they all turned in.
God, that was the fucking worst because it stopped. Like midway through, like close to the end, and I had to switch over to like a different player because that was all it had for some stupid reason.
And then like not only were like some people dying, but they were also like turning into like goop, or I think they were turning into goop, which is like insinuating they were dying. But I think that Misato just definitely dies.
Yeah,
there's a whole bunch of stuff that happened. I remember that, and then this is where it got kind of crazy for me, and then I feel like I kind of lost track. I need to watch it again, but like there's a whole lot of stuff that was like. And the goop was like coalescing into like a large ray, and then like the ray was like an angel of some kind or something, and like he was somehow they ended up defeating her, but like her head, like her body kind of like fell apart or whatever, and like her head was like in the ocean or whatever.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, and then I remember like there was like that iconic scene of like Asuka and Shinji like, on the beach with like the massive head in the background or whatever, and it's like yeah. So anyways, traumatizing.
Yeah, so that's what was in the process of happening.
I see. So I guess is that like looking out at that landscape and seeing the moon like that and seeing all that stuff, is that kind of like an Easter egg to like what happens in the end of Evangelion?
Maybe
in so many ways, like I mean, to kind of correlate the two.
Right, in a way, yeah, you could consider it.
Okay, I see.
But yeah, it's rough stuff.
It looks bad.
Inhospitable.
Yeah.
There is now even less real estate on the earth that is habitable.
And at that point, what is habitable, or do we know?
As far as I know, that little village that we see in the fourth film and everybody on the Wunder is all that's left.
Holy shit. That's not a lot of land at all.
Nope. No, it sure is not.
Yeah. But they start developing some sort of technology that can reverse the side or reverse the effects of it.
Yes. It's like the anti-L system.
Got it.
It works as a barrier and or repellent to the effects of any kind of impact. And it is wonderful.
Right.
A miraculous piece of tech that they use just to keep things at bay and survive, basically.
Right. And does it have to stay there? Or can you take those out and will it encroach back in again?
You can think of it as like a fence post.
I see.
But they don't last forever.
Uh-oh.
They have to, I don't know what the process is of, maybe you got to put in a new one, maybe you need to recharge it somehow.
Right.
But yeah, they're on borrowed time.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in this. Like, it's such a rich like world of like so much lore and like background and history. It's like
there's a lot.
Yeah. Well, it's been around for a long time. So.
I'm amazed that I have as good a grip on it as I do.
Yeah.
And even that's not saying much because there's still some shit I can't just rattle off right off the bat. But man, it's just cool.
It is super cool.
Yeah.
I love the aesthetic of it. It feels so dystopian.
Yeah.
But also has these moments of hopefulness in it. It's just it's super cool. But basically, to kind of like wrap this whole thing up,
Kaoru gives him the lowdown, like, yeah, you did this, but hey, there's a way you can make up for it. And atone. We got to get a couple of sticks.
A couple of fancy spears.
Right. Now, as to where these spears are.
Well, hey, Shinji, let me ask you this. You ever thrown a javelin before?
Yeah. How are you at
Oh, you're chucking a spear.
toss?
You any good?
How's your arm?
How's your arm?
But yeah. How about that? How about Unit 13, huh?
Unit 13's pretty cool. There's a couple of like facets about it that look a little different from Unit 1. A little bit beefier in some areas.
Yeah, definitely taller.
Yeah. It's super cool. This is one of the first times that we have like this, like Dylan had said at the very top of the episode, a dual plug entry.
Yes.
On both of the shoulder blades. You get to just...
Never before seen.
Yeah. Super cool. And then, of course, you get to like be in this kind of... what are they called? Pacific Rim-esque robot system. The drift system. Super cool.
Yeah.
And then they get down to ground zero of the impact. There's like this barrier over it. And apparently Unit 13 has been fitted to fix or to be able to pass through it with ease. Yeah. Get down there with, the clone of Rey or whoever you want to.
Oh, God.
All
the scenes with her, bro.
Yeah.
That's some rough shit.
It's hard. But they end up getting to like the remains of Lilith.
Yeah.
And it has the Mark 6 stabbed in it. And this is where my first few viewings of it, I didn't understand what was happening. But now, watching it for probably, the handful of times now.
It's all coming together.
Right, a little bit. There's a moment whenever they get close enough. And
Kaoru's like, wait.
He's like, wait.
Hold up.
And his words exactly, the first thing he says is,
something's not right.
Something's not right.
I would have stopped right there and been like,
that's what I'm saying.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What's not right?
Of course, Shinji's like, well, the whole reason why we're here is to get the spears.
So can't be not right.
Right. And he's like, unless one of them decided to shift forms, they both look the same.
Right.
And again, he doesn't really elaborate, but like,
right now he's just going through the motions. Like, how could this? What the hell? Could be happening here?
What is the cause of this? Because they should look different in some way.
Yeah.
And he's trying to mull it over, and then while it's happening, Asuka and Mari show up, and they're just like kicking him around.
We gotta stop him.
A ruckus, and and so Shinji's piloting by himself basically. He's like, "Hey, yo, some help would be nice. I don't know what's happening here."
And he's still over there, just contemplating. Motherfucker looks like the thinker.
Right. And again, I mean, for what could potentially be the end of the world, I don't blame him for going like, let me go ahead and think through. Let me go ahead and troubleshoot.
Yeah. Before we do anything we shouldn't.
Let me go ahead and just really feel this out a little bit.
Right now, the only feeling I'm getting is not good.
Unease.
Right.
So they end up catching an opportunity to get away from Asuka because of like a battery issue or like a low power stuff. And so he ends up like climbing up Lilith. And of course, then this is whenever like Kaoru kind of like wakes up a little bit. And he's like, hey, bro, like
we need to stop right now.
Like, we need to slow down because like something's not right.
Yeah. And Shinji's just
he's
too far gone.
But again, again, it's all he does things with the best intentions, but it's the wrong thing.
Yep. Every time it feels like.
And that's exactly what happened here.
Yep. You done it
He's
again.
like, I have to make good on the bad thing that I did.
Mm-hmm.
I have to reverse what I did. And it's like, you know what? I commend
Maybe
you.
you should read the title of the movie, bro.
By the way, it's You Cannot Redo.
Yeah. Boy, howdy.
So I get where he's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, in real cinematic masterpiece, Calder like really starts to get it. He really starts to put it all together at the last minute, where he's like, I can't believe I was so stupid.
We fucked up, bro.
He's like, we messed up real bad. We should turn back. We should get out of here.
Yep.
Shinji's not having it. He's like, bruh, like
I'm pulling out these sticks, dude.
I can't believe that I, the first angel, am getting tricked by the 13th angel. Yeah. Which I'm not fully understanding that one. Is that, who is the 13th angel? Does that mean he's becoming the 13th angel?
Yes.
Okay.
Whatever was inside the Mark 6, after Rey cut its head off and let it out,
right,
it began to form the core around Unit 13.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, he was then classified as the 13th.
Damn.
Yeah.
And what was the importance of that?
It means that it was now able to be used as a new trigger for the the fourth impact.
So does that mean that Shinji couldn't be used as a trigger?
No.
Why is that?
Because of his whole sync ratio type deal.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I see now.
Right.
I see now. Wow, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, Kaoru in this moment is having this realization of like, I've been bamboozled.
Yep.
I am now the catalyst for this new impact.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't believe I was so naive.
Yep.
And gosh, I know I shouldn't love it.
Yeah.
But whenever like the armor breaks off and the like shoulder horns come out and the halo rings and just this, I mean, terrifying demon screech happens where he's holding these. And by the way, the little extra bulk in the chest area is 2 extra arms.
I fucking love
Super
that
cool.
so much.
The basically like part of his chest plate like busts off, and of course he like these fingers like unravel from it, and you're like, oh shit, this boy's flexing out 2 extra hands.
Yeah.
And so not only it just looks so iconic because he's like glowing full luminescent white with these like big red eyes, and I mean, and just this like mouth agape with these like 2 hands being raised to the heavens and the other 2 holding these really like cool spiral spears, and it's just like this this devilish screech as he's just like hovering it. I'm like, bruh, that is cool.
That is a demon.
I was like, so freaking cool.
Yeah.
I think it's. I mean, you know what I mean?
At a loss for words.
Right, exactly. It feels in the universe of these beast robot creatures. It feels like that is the pinnacle.
Oh yeah.
Like there was a point in time where like in the near third impact in the previous movie where you're like, oh wow, I'm seeing like the near limits of what these things could do.
Yeah.
And then of course this movie just like fully surpasses that, and it's like, oh yeah,
you thought that was smart shit? Ooh.
Let's watch him hold these spears and become literally god of this world. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
I love the Wunder's initial attempt to stop this.
Yeah.
By way of straight up ramming into Shinji.
When in doubt, just full speed ahead.
Sealing him inside the AT field and just firing off all cannons at themselves because he's just stuck on the bow of the ship right now.
Yeah.
And Rey's headless Unit 0 has now,
gosh,
with it being like the control center for the Wunder initially, is now trying to retake the ship
Yeah.
And it's firing off beams like an angel would, of course.
Right.
Now, Asuka and Mari have to climb out of Ground Zero real quick to assist.
Right.
And man, Asuka is easily my favorite part of this fucking film, solely because of this last scene.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. She sprints full speed towards the Wunder.
Yeah.
Grabs onto the wing as it's being like dragged across the ground.
Yeah.
And she nails the motherfucker in the chest like from the other side of the ship. Like she fires a shot through the rib cage.
Yeah.
And it nails him. Of course it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But after that she's like, "Oh, okay.
I see. We're not playing fair."
Yeah. I love that. I love the voice activated controls for these things.
Yeah.
It's fucking altered mode code 777.
Right.
That's a fucking jackpot, bro.
Right, yeah.
And it turns into a monster like they all do. But it goes
more beast form.
Yeah, it goes a step further and straight up turns into a fucking panther and or jaguar. And I always love the way these things sound.
Oh yeah.
Like no matter what iteration it is. And it is able to just straight up catch one of these beams.
Oh yeah.
And just eat the thing.
Up until this point, the beams are so powerful and so fast. They just look like twinkles in the enemy's eyes, and then of course shit starts to explode.
An explosion happens.
This is the first time where like that happens, the twinkle happens, and we're seeing a ball of energy get caught in the mouth, and you're like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah, and of course get thrown back around and exploding, and it's super cool.
Yeah, she darts off of the ship, tackles the thing, and just bites into its neck.
Oh yeah.
Until it tears it open and then shoves her gun into the wound and just fires
her Mega Man-esque like arm, right? Yeah, it's super cool.
Oh,
blasting the shit out of it.
But it ain't enough.
Not enough.
And the thing regenerates like it's no problem. So she has to end up abandoning Unit 2.
Right.
And it self-destructs and kills the thing. Thankfully. So the ship's okay.
Right.
It'll live to fight another day. But Unit 2 is now a torso.
Oh, yeah.
With
that's
one
about
arm
it.
And a head, and that's it.
Right. It's pretty bad off.
Yeah. So, yeah, that DSS choker failsafe that Kaoru had taken off of Shinji and put on himself.
Yeah.
As a show of goodwill, has activated, and he is no more.
Yeah. It's real sad.
But not before stabbing both spears into the 13 to make it stop, hopefully. That doesn't work because Shinji's still in there.
Right.
So Mari does a fucking like midair jump, latches onto his back, and force ejects his plug.
Right.
Oh,
Speaking of like force ejecting, we also get this interesting sequence of like Gendo like shutting down Seele members.
Oh yeah.
And at that point, like I remember watching that a few times and not fully understanding what it was, because I thought that it was like a communication thing. I thought they were like on other parts of the planet and they were like communicating to them. But then I think on recent viewings, I think I've understood that they were like, it was like their consciousness was uploaded or something. And so, and then in this one, I think I was watching it again and I was like, because he was talking about how they've gone silent. And I was like, so are they part of the human instrumentality? Do they get like nabbed up? Is that how that works?
Most of them probably did, yeah. Except for that one dude at the end.
Yeah. And it's like, how does that work? If like your consciousness is uploaded, is that kind of the whole point of it? Is like,
what tipped me off about it is whenever he said, though you have changed the shape of your souls.
I see.
It's meant to be a bit of a hint as to what happened to them.
I got you. Wow, that's crazy. The whole Seele thing, and I think Gendo as a whole, I think I still have more to unpack.
Yeah.
If this episode has not been proof enough to that, where you're like, oh yeah, Sele's behind all of it. It was like, I knew that, but like, I didn't know how much. And
right. All the nitty gritty.
Oh yeah.
And that's some hard shit to uncover. Like, you have to go and read up
on
like the wiki articles and shit.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, And then just like that,
the day is saved.
The day is saved. Unit 1 as it tumbles to the ground and falls somewhere with these spears, I guess, just around.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in this endless sea of red.
Yeah, just walking to a pickup point.
That's that. And you're like, bruh, to be continued for another 10 years.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. We looked up the dates, and apparently the second movie came out in... the third movie came out in 2012. And I don't think that we got the recent installment until 2021. Which is probably why the voice acting was so different.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it had been a while. They weren't able to get every single person back either.
Yeah.
Changed some voices. They still had the original cast for the Japanese subs, which is why I was mainly wanting to stick to that one.
Yeah.
Because, man, it was jarring.
I don't remember it being that bad, but it's been a long time since I've watched it.
It's been a while, man. Like, there were multiple takes left in for a couple of lines. I remember one for Gendo specifically, and Fuyutsuki also.
What do you mean?
So, say for instance, in the Japanese dub of the movie, a line is said once.
Right.
That's it. In the dub for the US version, a line is read twice, like in a row.
Why?
I have no idea. I can only assume it was a mistake and was just left in.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay. Well. All right. Well, third one down.
Mm-hmm. One more to go.
One more to go.
Fuck.
Yeah. I remember the only thing that's like really keeping me going here is like I remember like the fourth one ending, and I was like, I'm happy for Shinji.
I fucking love the fourth movie, dude.
I can't wait to watch it again.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to that eventually.
Yeah.
But anyways, for anybody out there who's looking to find us or get in touch with us, we got a Linktree /Ian Wolf where you can see all of our links and you can reach out to us and talk to us or all that good stuff. Or on the other hand,
this is a big or.
You have to go to your old home. Once upon a time when you were a kid, you have to go look in your old mailbox and rummage through the mail. And there will be a package should be in there for you. Travel at least 14 years in the future.
Yeah.
When you wake up, don't ask any questions.
Nope. Everybody's gonna give you the side eye, but
yeah. But they will give the podcast to you.
They will. Yes.
Yeah. So it'll be easy.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, until next time, thank you so much for listening.
Yeah. See you.
Bye-bye.